One thing we're going to look at right now is, do you know who the lead attorney? Do you remember who the lead attorney is?
Yes.
And then there's another guy by the name of Oshay Duke Jackson. The lead attorney, and actually Oshay, I do like the videos. I watch their videos quite a bit. But I do disagree with them on some things. And honestly, one of the things I actually do disagree with them on is dating and women. I guess everyone has their own lived experiences. And I would have to say my lived experiences is pretty different from a lot of people in this manosphere space, in this red pill space. And so just gonna watch a video about what they're saying about passport bros, because they're spinning back around to what it seems like this passport bro thing, and I don't agree with it all the way. And the reason why I don't agree with it all the way, because honestly I think that some of the points that they're hitting on is that some of the stuff you can find here, but I don't think you're looking in the right places sometimes. But anyway, here we go.
The lead attorney. I don't know if I did it the right way, right? But I want you to hear this guy give a personal testimony on why traveling overseas is probably going to be great for you. Let's check out the video.
I lived in Mexico on and off for 6 years. The experiences that I had in Mexico, I see why brothers travel overseas and get their mind blown.
Oh! Really? Why is that?
Because it's not that the women over there are better. They are not better. They're just humans. They're women. Culture's different. And you're different. If I go to the airport, I don't get one look, not one. Because everybody looks like me. When I was living in Mexico, guys, I could tell you some stories and y'all would think I was lying. Because y'all can see me. Y'all be like, ain't true. I'm exotic when I go to Mexico. I'm invisible in the United States, but I'm exotic in Mexico, especially when I was down there. I was running into people that had never.
So to be honest with you, when I watched the video, this is one of the things I wanted. This is what stuck out to me. Some of the disagreements that I do have with Oshay sometimes is that, I don't know, he downs, I guess, interracial relationships and, you know, dating outside your race and things. And here's the thing, I'm okay with that, be honest with you, because to each your own. To each, you know, black guy, you know, whatever. And I'm just, you know, I just really don't care. Whoever I'm compatible with, and I found someone I'm compatible with, it doesn't matter what color that person is. As long as I'm compatible with it, that's all that matters to me. The thing that I guess kind of confuses me just a little bit is that they're promoting this passport bro thing, and the passport bros usually are looking for women outside of the country and that are of a different nationality, which is most likely going to be of a different race than a black person. So they do promote this, but they kind of beat down interracial relationships within the United States. Now, that is my point. And the reason why I'm going to say this is because of this exotic thing that he's talking about. Are black men in the U.S. considered exotic? And I would ask you, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think so.
Now, you say you don't think so, but I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. Where you grew up, how many black people were where you grew up? Two. How many black people went to your high school? Well, your elementary school, middle school, and high school.
Those two.
There was 2 black people that went to your elementary school, middle school, and high school. I have been to areas, and one of them is your area, and another area is close to your area, where there are no black people. And still to this, well, there's a couple, but a couple years ago, there was no black people. There was no black people. When I got in town, I was the only black. I didn't even know these places existed. And to be honest with you, I don't like to look at it that way, but to some people, I was exotic.
So it's weird though, because when I was growing up, like I knew they were black, but it was never talked about. It was never like they were our neighbors and we all would go out and play together. And they were 2 brothers and I had 2 brothers. So I was always playing with the boys in the neighborhood, but nobody ever talked about the color of their skin. And to be honest, until I moved down here and we started talking
We're in the South.
Now we're in the South. I grew up in the North. Until we moved down here and we started talking more about this, I realized, like, I had to think back. They were the only 2 black people in my school. And I played with them almost every day. And the color never came up in all of the years we were together.
My first time to that area, everyone thought that I was a professional athlete. I'm
Really?
serious. Yeah, everyone thought I was a professional athlete. I did feel like I was being looked at in a different way because I was a black person coming to the community, and I would consider I was different, and so I did draw a lot of attention no matter where I went because I would walk through, and I know it's not politically correct, but I started asking people, it's like, where y'all hiding all the black people back here? They're in the back of the stores. Where is? But I say that to say this is that throughout this video, and we're gonna watch some more of the video, is that a lot of the things that they're hitting on as far as the passport bros thing, I feel that some of this is coming from us as black people just not venturing out into different other cultures within the United States. We don't have to leave the United States to experience other cultures. Mm-hmm. Just like when I was getting out of college, I actually bumped into and you met him, but I have an Indian friend, and I was presented to their culture, which was different, and then I have some Spanish speaking friends, and so listen, I'm like Tupac, I get around. Not like that, but I get around just meeting people. Within the United States, there's a lot of different cultures that you can hang out with. You don't have to go outside the United States for this. You just got to be open to, getting to know other cultures in the United States.
I think some of the exotic, in my opinion, probably comes from people being outside of their country and feeling like they can kind of let loose. I feel like...
Yeah.
I feel like people act different when they're on vacation. They'll do things that they normally wouldn't do here because who's going to find out about it? Who's going to, you kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, it's a stigma. It's like,
let your inhibitions run wild because who's going to, so.
Listen, I don't travel outside the U.S. I have never really seen the need for me to travel outside the U.S. because I have everything that I like and need here, but the white person over here likes to travel outside the U.S., so I've been drug outside the U.S.
Did you like it?
I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool until I got the argument at the waterfront bar with somebody because they wanted me to turn my music down. But other than that, it was cool. But no, it was cool. But what I'm saying is that, be honest with you, the experience that we had over there is no difference than the experience of that group of Spanish people that I hang out with here. It's no different.
It's here. If you want to find it, you want to do it. But some people, I guess, just feel the need to pay some money and go long distances to do what they want to do.
Yeah, but anyway,
I never thought about this angle. Maybe a lot of black men want to be different for a reason such as what he's talking about. He wants to be an exotic. Again, if you live in America, you're not an exotic. It's not helping you stand out. But if you go down to Mexico, Thailand, you become more exotic. And that would give you a competitive advantage, especially with dealing with women, because you are different.
And this is another thing I disagree with. And the reason why I disagree with, because I'm different. I will say I'm a little quirky. Do you think I'm quirky? Mm-hmm. All right, I'm quirky. I'm different from a lot of my friends I hang around. Mm-hmm. The reason why I'm different from a lot of my friends I hang around is because I have been hanging out with a lot of different cultures. Right. Since college, I've been hanging. And so I've just seen just different facets of life. I've just seen the way other people live their life. And some of the things of some of these other cultures that I like, I have picked up. And it makes me a little different, and I think a little different just because I've seen the way other people live. And then through, just work and things like that, just meeting Spanish people and hanging out with them. And then I think I started hanging out with, the white crowds, I think in the high school and going into college. I hung out with some wild white guys in college. I hung out with the white guys that worked at the clubs, got in the clubs for free.
That the black guys were scared of. That the black guys were scared of.
Oh, no. I hung out with
scared of from the way they used to drink and stuff.
Oh, I hung out.
Couldn't keep up.
Yeah. That was my first really introduction into white guys and the way that they partied, and it was a little much for me at first. It was crazy. I'll just put it like that. It was too much for me, but that's why I'm a little different than a lot of my other friends. Whereas some of my friends, when I come back to the area, they've only hung out with just black people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just giving me something different. It's like, okay, let's do something different. This is gonna circle back around to women here in a minute. I promise.
To what?
Women. My point is women. My point is women and dating. It's going to circle back around.
If you live in America, you're not an exotic. It's not helping you stand out. But if you go down to Mexico, Thailand, you become more exotic. And that would give you a competitive advantage, especially with dealing with women, because you are different. So I can see why he's saying it.
Running into people that had never seen a black person in real life. Think about that. They had never seen a black person in real life.
There's another place that I've been in Iowa. Yeah, never seen black people in person. We both have been married before.
Yes.
In my first marriage, we had family. She had family in Iowa.
Was it Iowa or Wisconsin?
Both. They have a 1,000-acre farm. 1,000-acre farm. I thought they were trying to get rid of me. Actually, I thought they were trying to get rid of me twice when I first met. First, they wanted to take me ice fishing. Black people don't ice fish, not that I know of. None of the black people out. But anyway, when we got out there on the ice makes a whole lot of different sounds.
Oh yeah, I know exactly where they took you, and the whole pond drops like 4 inches at a time when it settles.
And you're out there trying to dig through the ice with this auger, this gasoline machine. Listen, I thought I was, but the second time was when we went to Iowa, and we get out in the middle of nowhere, and there are houses still on their land, but there are people that, going down the road to get to their land. And so they told me, it's like, hey, I was like, there's nothing to do. There is nothing to do out there but four-wheelers, tractors, yada, yada. They built a cannon, a homemade cannon. You know who they asked to light it? Me. I'm the only black person out there. You know why they asked me to light it? You're the fastest. They have four-wheelers. And I'm like, I just want to do something. So I get on the four-wheeler and I take off riding. I didn't think about it until I got about to the first house, which was probably about a half a mile away.
Who's this guy?
Yeah, they're going to think I stole this four-wheeler. I turned around, I quickly went back, and I was like, hey, can you just let your neighbors, hey, you got family in town, if they see us out riding four-wheelers?
Your neighbors that sit on the porch with a shotgun. just looking for squirrels in the yard.
Black guys riding four-wheelers down the road, they ain't supposed to be there. Those experiences have made me realize is that there are a lot of people that, don't really know black culture and things like that. And so, yes, at that point in time, I was a representation of, black people and black culture. And I tried to represent in a good and respectful way. Those experiences have made me unique to the point where when I'm actually, when I actually did have a chance to talk to a female, and yada, yada, is that I was different. I had different experiences, and I had different experiences from college days. I had different experiences from hanging out with the Indian group. I had different experiences from hanging out with the Spanish group. Is that you're not this cookie cutter black guy that everybody expects you to be. You have some different qualities, you have some unique qualities, but you also have some things that you can talk about that are interesting to other people. It's like, okay, like, why are you hanging out with these people? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not a passport bro. But I get it. I get why you get in a foreign country and your mind is blown. I could tell y'all so many stories.
So right now, like, let me just say, like, when I first started going to Poland, I could tell I was different. But now when you go to Poland, now you see a lot of blacks. So at what point do you stop being so different? And then when there's more black guys there, how do you then differentiate yourself from those guys? What happens when more blacks start coming there, more black men start coming there? Will you still have that situation? And then what do you rely on then?
That's what I was thinking. Because these passport guys aren't going over there for flings. They're going over there to look for wives and relationships, right?
I don't think so. I think maybe a small percentage of them are, but I think a lot of them are going over there looking for flings. But I was gonna stop the video right here, and this is why, because listen, I can understand where he's coming from with that, but I would say it depends on the guy. It would depend on the type of guy. To be able to carry on a deeper conversation, just, hey, what are you doing tonight? Where you going? Can I buy you a drink? You want to go back to my place? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that can carry on a deeper conversation than that. Somebody's like, I travel here, I travel there, I'm interested in this, these are some of the experiences that I had, and these are some of this, you know what I'm saying? You get the depth to someone. And I think people sometimes are more attracted to the depth of someone versus just physical appearance, but you have to sometimes have something to get you through that icebreaker so you can actually have a conversation with someone. You got to have some depth to yourself, and that's the only thing I'm saying is like you've got to be interesting. And as long as you don't have any depth to yourself, you're just gonna keep getting shallow results.
I think that's why a lot of these guys go over there. I think they are maybe the guys that don't really have depth or they want to maybe be lazy, or they just don't have games. So it's just easier over there because maybe there is a language barrier. Maybe they don't really have to say much.
We have a couple friends of the passport bros.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have, and we know the horrors of being a passport bro. We have a friend that bought he bought a compound in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, but it's a nice house.
That's what I'm saying. When I said compound, he bought it was a big house.
Yeah,
it was huge. It was huge. He met this young lady, and he came back over here for a couple weeks, and she was living in the house, and a pipe burst on the second floor. Water ran for a couple days because she had never lived in a house
With water.
or a floor.
She didn't know that wasn't okay. And she didn't know that you needed to call a plumber
somebody.
to fix it.
Or to tell him, say what was going on. And he learned his lessons. He knows what lane to play in now. And so, but if that's what you're going overseas to do, that's one thing. But if you're going overseas to try to find a wife because the women here in the U.S. are no good and yada yada, then I think you probably need to reassess your plans and maybe need to work on, developing some skills in some other communities around you in your cities and in your neighborhoods before you start to venture outside the U.S. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, all right. Hey, all for interracial dating. I'm all for other culture dating. Listen, as long as you find somebody that works with you, that's all that matters to me. And as long as you're happy with the person that you're with, that's all that should matter to you.